Say hello, everybody. It's Vitali over here at OG Gamers Live, and we're back. And I'm doing a little special video today for a viewer. I don't normally do this, but he talked me into it. He was wanting uh, basically an idea for a budget build or to buy, and so I'm working on the builds. He wanted two different builds. He wanted one with an Intel processor, one with an AMD processor. He didn't have to have the latest and greatest. His budget's between $700 and $800. However, he wanted both builds to have a clear upgrade path, which is the little stickler on this because of Intel being the way they are. And he also wanted to work with or without a graphics card. So instead of doing four different builds, I put together just two. I put together an AMD build and an Intel build, and I started to do this over on Part Picker, and I did the Intel build over there, and I ran into some problems like on my Parts Picker when you click on like the CPU to look at the specs. It didn't give you all the specs. It didn't tell me everything I needed to know. Some of the cases that I was trying to find were not showing up in PC Parts Picker, and I had already done both these builds over in Newegg, and I was trying to see if I could do it cheaper over on PC Part Picker. And I came out with the case and everything on Newegg a few dollars cheaper than on Parts Picker and no case. So we're just going to use the Newegg list, and let's get to that. Y'all have to forgive me. It's extremely hot today. It's hotter than it was supposed to be, and it's humid. And we're going to start off with the Intel build, and you're going to find a lot of parts in both lists. So, anyway, I started off with the ASRock B760 Pro RS LGA 1700 DDR5 ATX motherboard because it does support DDR5, and I didn't want him to be stuck with a DDR4 motherboard and be locked into DDR4 and be limited on his upgrade. I went with the Intel Core i5 12600K because it does have integrated graphics. It does support DDR5, and it's 6 P cores and 4 E cores, so it's not too bad. I didn't go wild on the RAM. I just went back with the basic 16 gigabytes. The Intel i5 specifies DDR5 4800. It doesn't say that it supports anything else, and I wanted this to be a simple, reliable build, so I went with what the motherboard and the processor said it would support. 16 gigs was $40. I went with a Team Group M.2 2281 terabyte PCIe 3.0 NVMe drive, $36. Now I did err on the side of caution on the power supply because he wanted this system to work with or without a graphics card. And the graphics card that I would consider for this build has a TDP of 225 watts, and it might even do more than that if it was overclocked. So there was only $4 difference between a 650 watt and a 750. So I went with the 750 because that's what the graphics card calls for, or that's what's recommended. I would love to have went water cooled or with an AIO on this, but because of the budget and the, we'll get back to that later. So I went with the Vetru, the B5 CPU air cooler because it works both either on Intel or AMD. And and he specified that he didn't have to have RGB or any of that. But because I don't know his skill level on building, and I don't know if he has somebody to help him or not, and because he was going to need fans anyway, I went with the SAMA 3509 ATX gaming case. It's a mid-tower case. It comes with 4 ARGB fans. It comes with 3 120 millimeter fans in the front and one 120 millimeter fan in the rear. And as an added bonus, it comes with an RGB keyboard. Probably nothing fancy, but it's free. It comes with it. It's $79. You're going to find the case, the cooler, the power supply, the storage drive, and the video card in both builds. This build comes out to $794.92. It's right at the limit of his $800 budget, and that is before tax, and that does not include the operating system. However, there are some sites out there where you can buy a legitimate copy of Windows 11. You can get the license key for $23 to $28. So it's just a little over. If we remove the graphics card, it comes in at $594.92. And then that gives him a little room to play with. We could bump that i5 up to an i7, give him a little extra storage. We could probably add a 2 terabyte storage drive, stuff like that. It'd be some more room in the budget, but there's room to play there. But this is where we're going to start, because he wanted it with and without a graphics card. And I'm not going to do 2 builds for each processor. So again, the Intel build came in at $794.92 or $594.92 without the graphics card, and that'd be a pretty peppy little system, especially if he goes with the ARC A750. And we'll talk more about why I chose that card here in a minute. Let's go look at the AMD build. Again, like I said, you're going to find the case, the CPU cooler, the power supply, the NVMe SSD drive. They're all they're the same in both builds, same price. But we went with the Zeus Prime A620 Plus Wi-Fi AM5 motherboard, because it supports the AM5 7000 series GPUs, and it supports DDR5. Unfortunately, because he wanted a clear upgrade path, I chose the AM5, because this is the first gen of the AM5 CPUs and motherboards. There's probably going to be 2, 3, or 4 more releases come out that this board will support, and I didn't want him locked into a DDR4 motherboard that didn't have much of an upgrade path. Both systems, like I said, will support DDR5. Both of them will support resizable bar. Both of them support XMP profiles. So there's a lot of room there to upgrade in that respect. The only difference here is the RAM is the same price, but it's 16 gigabyte of DDR5 5200, because that's what this particular processor calls for. And once again, I wanted it to be a nice, reliable system, so I stuck strictly with what the CPU said it supported. Without the video card, it's $584.93. With the video card, it'll be $784.92. Let's go ahead and add the video card in. As you can see, it brought it to $794.92. Again, right there at his $800 budget. It's actually going to be a little over after tax, and by the time he buys his operating system. But he if he has an old computer that's got Windows 10 on it, we can always transfer the license over to a new system, saving some money that way. And the reason I went with the ARC A750 is because performance wise, it's just a little bit behind the ARC A770, uh, and it's 8 GB. It's actually a really good performing card now. Uh, Intel has been working fastidiously on updating the drivers and improving the performance of these cards. I have the ARC A770 with 16 GB RAM and an old system in the back, and I have not had any problems out of it. It's done everything that I've asked it to do. No muss, no fuss. It performs well. Uh, Surprisingly good performance numbers, and everything that I wanted to do an all AMD build and go with an AMD GPU, but I didn't want him stuck with the low end graphics card that only had 4 GB or 6 GB of RAM, and anything that had 8 GB from AMD was anywhere from $100 to $200 more than this card right here, and it was a lot less performance. So I went with the ARC. Same reason over on the Intel side, because uh, NVIDIA, I'd spent another $100 on a 4060, and the 4060 is crap. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. I will post the links to both these build lists in the video description below, and you can go check it out for yourself. Anyway, I wish that I had the budget or the means to do these builds so I could showcase them. Unfortunately, I don't. I don't normally do low end budget builds, and I know that this ain't like low end, but without the video card, like I said, they're under $600. With the video card, they're a little over $800, and that's way below where I normally work because of the people that I work with and the work that I do. It's been a long time since I've done a budget build. I'd love to do one just to see how it performs. But I did go do some research, so I'm familiar with both the processors. I'm familiar with the graphics card. I know that this should make a pretty decent budget build, and I don't know where he could buy it for that. So I'm not going to go do the research and look for a buy. I'm going to just give you a build list, and I hope this helps. Till next time, this is Vitalo over at OG Gamers Live. Y'all stay safe wherever you are in the world today, and I'm out of here.